Hello and welcome to the Boost Over Ball podcast, your go-to place for everything Rocket League with your hosts, K-Cube, AJ Binky, and Red. So lean forward, lock in, and get ready to go Boost Over Ball.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Boost Over Ball podcast. To listeners new and old, hello and welcome to the show. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Kyle, K-Cube, and today I'm joined by Red and AJ. What's up, guys?
What up?
Today we'll be talking about the major number 2, the London Major, the third time's the charm at the Copper Box, and we'll be talking about predictions, our thoughts, some recap, going over everything that happened, and we will be wrapping up this episode by talking about the FIFA E Rocket League World Cup. So a lot of exciting things happening in Rocket League this week, and we will jump right in. So with that, I'll run through the Swiss, and then we'll talk about our thoughts and our takeaways from Swiss. So our teams going 3-0 are Team Vitality and Team Falcons. Our teams going 3-1 are Gentle Mates Alpine, Space Station Gaming, G2 Stride. And our teams going 3-2 and just making it into the playoffs are Team BDS, Gen G Mobile One Racing, and Furia Esports. Just missing the cut and going 2-3 are Oxygen Esports, Power, and Team Secret. Those teams going 1-3 are Twisted Minds, OG, and Gaming Gladiators. And last but not least, our teams going 0-3 are Chiefs Esports Club and Team Mobula. What are you guys' first thoughts on coming out of Swiss?
I think the biggest thing that probably stands out to most, especially expectations going into the major, is Oxygen not making the cut to top 8. I'm sure that team was on majority of top 8s. I know they were on mine. They started out rough, losing immediately to Power, and they just never really caught their footing afterwards.
Yeah, and I mean, losses for Oxygen to Gen G and to Furia are both tough for them, but like Power is a team that you got to be beating if you're Oxygen. And coming in, they were looking like one of the hotter teams in the world, and they left a lot on the table, and disappointing result for them. I know Joyo tweeted that they underperformed, but this isn't the last we see, and it looks like I don't think that they'll make a roster change heading into next season. So, but we'll have to wait and see. We have a long time before that happens.
Absolutely.
How about Vitality going 3-0? Looking like Vitality that we've come to expect on the world stage.
It was nice to see them perform again, albeit they did go to 5 with Gen G and they went 3-1 over Furia. But it's nice to see them back. I would say nice to see them back in form. Now the rest of his team, we'll get to how they performed later in playoffs, but at least in Swiss State,
they had a Mickey run.
Well, I mean, it's a little bit of a theme here, and we'll talk about it more once we get to playoffs, right? But Vitality beating Furia in round 3, and we have G2 dropping 0-3 to Falcons in round 3 as well. So that's maybe another shocking, like maybe not shocking that Falcons wins that series, but kind of shocking in the way that it transpired with kind of such a lopsided series in my opinion, with Falcons winning 4-2, 2-0, 6-0, right? Like G2 just couldn't seem to get the offense going, and they really had a difficult time there. But one thing, maybe not so much a surprise, and I know a lot of people were, I don't know if excited is the right word, but like happy about it. Team Mobula is swept out. They only took one game against Twisted Minds. There was a little bit of some banter and some BMing on Twitter from Snowy, from Limitless, and VK Salen, who the leader of Team Mobula. Basically, VK saying we won more games and on LAN than SSA ever has, and
he got fact checked into oblivion.
Yeah, it's not true. They did not. And also, you're not an SSA region. Due to their abysmal performance in Swiss, Team Mobula will not be making Worlds. It will be Limitless making their run. Due to Oxygen not making the Grand Finals, Carmine Corps will be headed to the Worlds, and Team Secret, with 2 series wins over Chiefs and OG, are able to do just enough to take the world spot away from Complexity. I know that Gibbs and a lot of other people were kind of hoping that Secret wouldn't take that second series so that they would be forced into a tiebreaker with Complexity, because everybody loves the tiebreaker. But that, I believe, so...
No one more than Gibbs, though.
Yeah, no one more than Gibbs. So we have Team Secret heading to Worlds. So, good for the homie Brad and for everyone involved there. But it'll certainly be, all of our world spots are now locked up.
Yeah, we will not get to see the Bull back at Worlds. It is unfortunate, but
Yeah.
Complexity didn't look the greatest throughout their time this season. So hopefully they will be able to bounce back and regain and retake that spot.
Agreed. But before we jump into playoffs, if you guys had to pick your most surprising performance from Swiss, and that could either be good or bad, right? You could be surprised both ways. Picking a team that you think was the most surprising to you and where they finished, who would it be?
Oh gosh, I'm gonna have to say, being the mean a 2 seed, you think they would be
who'd
a
you
little
say?
better off, but I mean, watch Twisted Minds.
Okay, Twisted Minds, gotcha.
Yeah. They didn't look great. I watched every series of Swiss, and I was kind of disappointed in how they were performing. Maybe that's part. In fact, they're having to live in the shadow of Team Falcons, but Twisted Minds did not look great against Gentlemates. I mean, they got ruined by them. They got reverse swept by OG, and they only took they let Team Mobilug take a game, and then they also lost 1-3 to Oxygen. So I think that was probably my most surprising performance.
Okay.
OG was up there, but OG also had a pretty tough run. A couple close game 5s, losing 1-3 starting off with Furia right off the rip, and then a BDS team which looked great in Swiss initially. So those are probably like my top 2.
Okay.
I'd definitely go with Oxygen.
Okay.
I feel like they should have done better. And I also really wanted them to make Swiss for Worlds reasons.
Yeah, I think that would have been cool to see. It would have been certainly a lot on the line for them, and maybe the pressure gets to them in playoffs, but they really should be doing better there, in my opinion. And losing to Power, they shouldn't be doing that. But all credit goes to Power on that one.
Dude, Power was going nuts.
Yeah, Power looks fantastic.
I love it. Okay, who was your favorite team that? And you can't say G2 Red. Who was your favorite team? Who's your favorite team to watch that was just most entertaining?
Oh, most
Power's up there for me.
It's Power or Furia for me.
Those are the 2 I was gonna say too.
I was gonna say too. When it comes to entertainment factor, I mean, Power
I would put Power up first.
Furia. If we're gonna call it a series specifically, Furia versus
I just mean play style for the teams is what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, go ahead.
The Furia, what match was it? It was Furia OG, the first series, right? With the trash talking already starting off the day, Tom and Yan going at it. That was entertaining. It was so great, a great way to start the. I'm loving the trash talk banter coming back. You can tell they're in it. They're in the moment. They're competing. They hate each other's guts. But as soon as the game's over, it's all hugs and love. I am all for it.
Yeah. What about you, AJ? You said Power was up there for you.
Yeah, I think Power then Furia.
I believe that leaves you, Mr. KQ.
I said Power or Furia.
Well, great minds think alike.
Yeah, for sure. But I am maybe my surprising result for me has got to be Space Station though. They take Falcons to game 5. They sweep Mobula. They take down Power 3-1. And Power, I thought, looked really good. So I think that's a good result for them. And then they take down Furia 3-1. So, that's two of the teams in there that they lost in game 5 or beat in 4 were, top 4 teams this event. So, I think that's a really good result for them. I think that Chrome said it, said it well. He said, I saw there's a lot to like from this from this roster, or Sad Junior. I'm sorry, not Chrome. Jeez, that's Chrome was the old coach. A lot of progress was made. A lot of good things. I think that they're starting to peak at the right time. So I think that they could be a team to look out for heading into Worlds.
Absolutely. And I was just noticing this too. It was like they had a tough run there, like starting off with Team Falcons, who we soon found out was just feeling themselves
legit.
The rest of the regional. But the crazy thing, Team Falcons, they go 3-0, right? We kind of talked about Vitality having a Mickey Mouse bracket run, a little bit, joked about it. But Team Falcons, I mean, first series of the day, you go game 5 just against Space Station. You go game 5 against BDS, and then you sweep G2. So that's what, NA 3 seed, EU 1 seed, and NA 1 seed to go 3-0.
I don't think BDS was.
Yeah, we all saw it coming.
Like, jeez. But yeah,
see it again.
Yeah, but now we can head into playoffs, and this one I would like to do like round by round. So let's go through the quarterfinals, then let's talk about it, because there certainly is a lot to talk about. I'll save the craziest one for last. We have Furia taking down Vitality 4-1. We have
arguably is the second craziest, but
we have G2 taking down Space Station 4-1. We have Falcons taking down Gen G 4-1. And last but certainly not least, in the most lopsided quarterfinals matchup of RLCS history, we have Gentlemates sweeping BDS 4-0.
Yeah, not only sweeping, but three goals away from a perfect sweep, only allowing BDS to score 1 goal at most a game.
Plus 15 goal differential.
Yeah,
which
that's
I believe
insane.
Yeah, that's a new record. I'm pretty sure for most lopsided playoff match. I think I saw posted. It was like the highest goal differential in RLCS history.
For people who did
nice one. Any idea?
I think it was Gentlemates and something.
Really?
I have to check.
But for people who did not see the series, the game scores are 4-1, 4-0, 4-1, 6-1. And
I was really hoping for Brazil.
I was about to say the same thing. I was thinking they were going to Brazil him at the end there too.
Yeah.
But it looked like they kind of like took their foot off the gas a little bit. But
yeah, for sure.
What a tremendous performance from Gentlemates. And like I was talking about it, and I'll let everyone peek behind the curtain here a little bit. We're gonna pre-record an episode with Bel Air, who does a lot of advanced stats, and we'll have a conversation with him talking about Gentlemates online versus Gentlemates on LAN, because they seem to be two vastly different teams. But like, I can't really think of another example like in conventional sports where it's like, the entire season, like, oh, Gentlemates isn't that good. They're not that good. Like, they're good, but they're not that good, right? Like, they're top 4 EU, but they're not good enough to win any events, right? They don't win any regionals, but they come out and they win Major 1. And everyone's like, okay, that was maybe kind of a fluke, kind of a Mickey run for them. Like, they didn't they didn't have to take down, they didn't play Carmine Core should have been there, like all that stuff. And then we get to Major 2. And Gentlemates is good, but they're not that good. And they come out and they do this. And you're like, and I, at least for me, I'm starting to think, oh man, this could be another Gentlemates Major win. Like, that's absolute dominance. But it's funny to go from this to like the next one that we're going to talk about, which is Vitality Furia. But
yeah,
like, just because of the amount of dominance that went from one and then into the next. But I mean, that's another massive result.
Yeah, I did find the graphic I was saying earlier. So it wasn't Gentlemates. It was Carmine Core versus Team Liquid in the 2022 to 2023 Winter Major semis with a plus 12 goal differential.
Oh man!
Wow.
Honorable mentions to Team BDS versus Semper with a plus 11 in the 21 to 22 fall major semis. Energy versus Complexity, RLCS Season 5 Worlds Upper Final with a plus 11 as well. And then finally, G2 Esports versus Rogue in RLCS Season 7 Worlds Semis. A lot of World Semis I'm noticing. But with a plus 10 goal differential. So
Dang.
those are your top 5, best of them being best of 7s.
Okay. Well, I mean, I know another kind of storyline that they were talking about in chat. There was a poll in the Twitch chat talking about it after Game 3 with a couple of tech pauses in there. It was which will be more at the end of the series, Vitality goals or tech pauses? And
Oh no.
it
was close.
I would like the record to show that they did tie
Oh my god.
5-5.
Man.
With the last
That's
tech
rough.
pause being between Game 4 and Game 5. They did eventually count it as a tech pause because they were having some server issues, so they did tie. But for a while there, it was 4-1 in favor of the tech pauses.
It's crazy.
So, I mean, I don't know if the tech pauses threw Vitality off. You see Radosin with his face on his keyboard, Alpha with his head in his hands, and Zen trying to do everything he can to hype the crowd up to try and get him going. But Furia truly outclassed Vitality, and I think that they looked really, really good.
Yeah, I mean, Furia in that match, they looked like the Furia we saw in Swiss at Copenhagen. I mean, they looked unstoppable. They were truly showing that Sam playstyle of hardcore aggression, fast-paced gameplay, sending it all in. First man, second man, third man, everyone's on offense, and the Vitality just never really got their feet underneath them to get back into it. I mean, it was truly an outclass by Furia.
Yeah, and then I would like to note before I bring up the main point that I was about to make. Yan and Drufinho and Lost we're talking a lot of smack. In Swiss, you could see it on the broadcast. You talked about it with OG. You talked about it with Gentle Mates when they beat Gentle Mates in Swiss, and especially against Oxygen, they were talking a lot too, which kind of set the stage for their matchup against Vitality. And after a 4-1, Drufinho jumps up and flips off Vitality, and that's already become a meme on Reddit, on Twitter, for everything. And Furia tweeted it back out, and instead of the middle finger, it was him holding a bouquet.
I did see that, yeah.
So it's, I like the players showing personality. I like to see that side of it. It's a competitive game. Like, trash talking, I think, is part of it. Do you think he took it too far?
I did figure out why the finger flip off and the L by the coach happened. Vitality had shortly posted after beating the Furia in Swiss. It was Radosin doing the Fortnite L dance, and they added Furia, and I believe that held some. I believe the Furia team held a grudge after that point, and hence the trash talk and harsh reactions afterward.
So does that mean that
That's funny.
slighted Furia is greater than job security Radosin?
I believe so. Now I am worried for slighted Zen. How the demon training arc that this man is about to undergo. I've been hearing about.
Oh god, 3,000 MMR in ones coming.
We heard that.
Yeah, I've been jokingly hearing Zen's about to be the first man to put 28 hours of Rocket League a day in. I'm like, oh boy.
I don't know if the world's ready.
we shall see if I am so hoping we get a rematch at a Furia Vitality rematch at Worlds in front of crowd will be so good.
Yeah, that would be crazy. But now
they're gonna switch up rosters. It's gonna go back to Rise Joy of Vatira, and Furia and Moist are gonna play in the grand finals.
If only that was the grand finals match, so I don't have to see G2 lose to BES again.
But now on to our third matchup, a little bit of friendly fire, and at this point, I almost just feel bad for Space Station here. You know, they just lose to G2. They just lose to G2.
I mean, it's
Well,
kind of like
it's
cherry on top, right?
yeah, G2 or Gen G. Like if they
That's so
don't face one of those teams, they're golden. They're killed. They're doing great. As soon as they face G2 or Gen G, it's
Yeah,
a
they're
wrap.
probably the third best team in the world, but we'll never know.
The world may never know.
I felt bad for that SSG roster because, like you said earlier, they truly looked like a fantastic team going out of Swiss. I mean, they
Yeah.
looked like they had the opportunity to beat some of the best, and unfortunately, they played the best. And well, you saw what happened there. A nice quick 4-1 for G2. I mean, wasn't it wasn't that close, in all honesty.
So I just looked it up. Space Station has lost five, like not including the major. Space Station has lost five series this split. 3 of them to G2, 1 of them to OG, and 1 of them to Shopify. And they, including the major here, Space Station has lost 7. 1 of them to Falcons, and 4 of them to G2.
Nice, man. The kryptonite.
That's so funny.
Rough for them. G2 was certainly looking good. Beast mode, especially Saturday and especially Sunday, looked otherworldly. Was pre-jumping things, was making some crazy plays, and they're able to take out the win. And in what I kind of feel like was the least surprising result of the quarterfinals, Team Falcons making quick work of Gen G. Like Gen G makes playoffs, right? But they lost to Vitality, they lost to G2, but they beat Secret and Power and Oxygen, and that ended up being pretty expected. But they didn't really make an impression on me, and they didn't really make an impression on the playoffs. They scored 4 goals, and 3 of those were in one game, and they just got outclassed by Falcons. Is there anything else you guys want to add about that series?
No, I mean,
I don't think so.
I think that about covers it.
Fair.
There wasn't much, unfortunately.
Okay. And then moving on into the semifinals, we have G2 taking down Furia 4-2. And in, what I would probably consider the best series of the entire the best Rocket League competitive series of the event, we have Team Falcons taking down Gentlemates in Game 7 overtime to advance to the grand finals.
Yeah, that was fun to watch.
That series was electric to watch.
So let's talk about G2 Furia first. G2 wins 2 games. Furia takes their timeout, wins 2 more. G2 takes their timeout and then wins the last 2. That series, at least to me, seemed a lot closer than it was. Right after the first 2 games, G2's kind of flying high. They haven't let up a goal, and then Furia comes out and they're able to win 3-1 twice in a row, and you're thinking, this may be a lot closer than I thought. And then they get 2 2-1 wins to close them out. But I felt like this series probably should have gone to Game 7, just the way that they were playing those last 2 games. But G2's defense was just impeccable down the stretch.
Was it this series that had the really bad own goal?
No, that was.
Was it Falcons?
Oh, no, that was
this one. Yeah,
that was this one.
That
yeah,
was Furia, right? Yeah, that's what I
Oh no. Because Vitality had a bad one too, didn't they?
Vitality had a bad one, but Beast Mode put one into his own net.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
He was trying to save it, but he put it into his own net.
Yeah, I know. But that series, the heart was racing. As a resident G2 fan, it was hard to watch.
Man.
But shout out to Sathu, because the dude's coaching ability is incredible. I mean, the way he's able to call a timeout and immediately change his team and how they play and how they can counterattack and fully counter Furia was impressive, to say the least. I know I've seen some memes about there was a picture taken of Sathy where he locks in, and it truly looks like it looks like Sathy's out there on the pitch, like looks like he's got the controllers in his hand, ready to go to Game 7. I mean,
yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about, and it's a
Yeah.
good picture. I think it's also going to be a pretty good meme here for a little bit, along with the Drufinho finger. But the moving into the next semifinal match, and you know I talked about it a little bit during the Swiss stage, but Gentlemates, Falcons, right? Gentlemates are no, I lied. Don't listen to me on that one. But yeah, it was BDS. I meant to bring it up in the quarterfinals. BDS take down or lose to Gentlemates, and then no, I'm just gonna cut this whole part out. That's whatever. But moving into our second semifinal, and what I think is probably the most entertaining series of the day. This was back and forth. I can't say enough good things about the series. Falcons looked so good, but you know, it really, like Stack said it in the intro. This is an immovable object meets an unstoppable force, and it truly was. What a tremendous series. And like, if you didn't watch this event at all, I highly recommend that this is the series that you like, one of the series that you watch from this event. It like had top tier Rocket League, people peaking, incredible defense. And just, I can't say enough good things about how entertaining this series was to watch.
It was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, with that entire series, like I had no stake in that series except for cheering for Falcons just because it wasn't EU. But that series is insane. I mean, the turnaround in that Game 7 where TRK gets the dunk on the Gentlemates. I don't remember which player it was that he dunked, and then the just counterattack long ball downfield to win it. I mean, wow. I'm still like I've gone back and watched that series a couple times just to like see everything that I missed, and it was truly I think a great series of all time.
For sure. And this sets the stage for a grand final. And Red, I'll let you talk about the grand final here in a second. But Team Falcons' win over Gentlemates was historic because this is the first time in RLCS history that an EU team has not made the grand finals.
Yeah, I think it was 17 grand finals straight, and it was roughly 7 years. So it was coming. Yeah, it was a long time coming, but EU finally took a nap for a bit, and we appreciate it.
We certainly do.
And
but
we hope it happens again.
Yes,
at Worlds especially.
Yeah.
But Red, why don't you break us down on the grand final here? I know you've been waiting for it.
I've been waiting for this for a while. G2 Stride, scared me in the first half. You know, they had me in the first half. I'm not gonna lie. Losing game 1 2-1, and you know, I believe it was G2 comes up with an early goal, and then the Falcons lock in, and it's just goal, and they don't really look close at all. And then G2 turns it around completely. They win the next game 2. I'm like, okay, this is looking like game 7. Then they sneak away game 3. Team Falcons calls a timeout, and this is where I'm like, all right, this is where it goes to game 7 because timeout buff always hits different. This one hit different, but for a completely different reason. G2 then shuts out Team Falcons in game 4 and game 5 with a 1-0 and 3-0 victory to secure NA's major win in London. How fitting. And not only that, G2 becomes the first All-American team to win a major. This is Beast Mode Daniel's first major win, and Atomic becomes the first ever North American to become a first ever American, United States of America, to become a 2-time major winner. Which that was a crazy stat. I didn't even know that was a thing. I could have swore we had someone, but no. It is just Atomic. So super proud of the boys, and I was literally screaming at my computer the entire day.
I mean, that seems pretty fitting. But
Yeah.
you know, on that same vein, to no one's surprise who watched the event, your tournament Major 2 MVP is Beast Mode. Congratulations first and foremost to G2 on their win. Congratulations to Beast Mode on his MVP. Extremely well deserved. There was no other option for me on who should have been MVP. He was lights out, especially on Sunday. So again, congratulations to them, and great to see for G2 to finally break through their grand finals, curse, and to get the monkey off their back, so to speak, heading into Worlds. But now that we've gone through everything, we've talked about all the games, we've talked about the winner, we've talked about MVP. Do you guys have a favorite series of the tournament? It doesn't necessarily have to be the best game. For any reason, which series? What was your favorite? Red, I'll let you start us off.
Okay. G2 bias to me. My favorite series has to be. Oh, actually, no. There's one that clears, in my opinion, just for entertainment value alone. G2 versus Gen G, the Yappening. You know what I'm talking about. Dazarin, T-Bates on the cast. That was peak entertainment. I was dying laughing, but also my heart was about to rip out its chest, out my chest the entire time. That or Team Falcons versus Gentlemates, from a non-biased perspective, that series was truly a spectacle to watch.
So you bring up a good point, and we should talk about this, right? With the Yappening, the Daz and Bates cast for Gen G versus G2. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
More. I want more. I love
overkill.
I love to hear the bias casting occasionally. Yeah, I like just the normal like hype for both teams, just more just talking about the game, but every now and then like having those team streams or those like caster versus caster style games are just super entertaining because it is fun to hear them like banter back and forth about it and to watch just kind of like essentially two guys rooting for their teams respectively. And it was really fun. I would love to see more of it. Of course, when the matchup occurs, it'd be fun to see like a Johnny Boy versus T-Bates, NA versus EU. That would be a fun one to watch. I would like to see more.
Yeah, I feel like it would be better as like on Johnny Boy's stream or Daz's stream, I feel like
like for a team stream.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like the mainstream should be completely unbiased like it is now for the sake of people that aren't super invested.
That's fair. I wouldn't say I would want them every time.
Yeah.
But like every now and then, I think it'd be
Sprinkled in like they did this time.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm kind of glad to hear you say that. I was starting to think that I was like super in the minority, but I was not really a big fan.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm here for a little bit of bias casting, or a little bit of like CJ casting OCE matches. Like he gets super excited for OCE, like because that's the region he played for, and that's like I'm here for that. Like I'm fine. Like that's part of the storylines. That's part of the personalities. But like, I think that probably for that like entire series, I feel like they talked about like they did actual casting for like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And like I actually like, and I'll go as far like I'll own it, right? And I know I'm in the minority on this one. I had like both the streams up, right? Like the Oxygen Twisted Minds and G2 Gen G, because those are the two that were like the last ones that were going on the affiliate stream. I actually muted the G2 Gen G stream because I didn't want to listen to it anymore. Yeah. And again, I know I'm in the minority on that one, but I don't know what it is. I'm also not like, good for him for doing everything that he's been doing, and congratulations for graduating, becoming a lawyer, finishing law school, and he is a pillar of the Rocket League casting community. But I'm not a huge T-Bates fan. I think like
I'm not either. I used to be.
just because you talk loud doesn't mean you're right.
Yeah.
You guys are
Because you
breaking
can
my
argue.
heart, man. Breaking my heart.
I
He's
mean,
a super good dude. I've met T Bates, like super
Yeah.
nice guy, but he's not my favorite of the casters, and you know, well, I'm
he's too
here
much like
for.
me. He argues for the sake of arguing.
I mean,
You said he's
every
too
panel
much like
needs
you,
that,
is that
but
what you
Exactly.
said?
yeah.
Bro sees T-Bates in himself, and he's like, no, this can't be.
We can't have this.
But so again, I know that I'm in the minority on that one, so I'll take whatever comments or stuff that people want to talk about, but that's
Yeah.
I'm right
that's where
there
we're
with
at.
you.
You stay there. No.
But moving on from that, because I would tend to agree with you guys that I think that from a gameplay standpoint, Falcons Gentle Mates is probably the best series of the day. For me as an NA Rocket League fan, I really enjoyed Furia beating Vitality. I think that's another really good one. And then, obviously as someone who enjoys watching G2, someone who enjoys watching NA Rocket League, the G2 Stride Falcons has got to be, up there as well, just because they're finally doing it and winning. First American team to win an international event. So good for them. But moving on to predictions, all in all, I feel like we did pretty well. AJ, you predicted 6 out
That
of
was
the
so
8
close.
top 8 teams missing out on Gen G and SSG. You got 2 of the 4 semifinalists and 1 grand finalist, but not the winner. Red and I both went 7 for 8 in Swiss. I missed Gen G. He missed Furia. We both went 2 for 4 in the semifinalists. We both got G2 in the grand finals correct as the winner as well. So, all in all, pretty good. Better than we have done in the past in major predictions, at least. But, there's always still room for improvement. I think that, I'd have to, in between episodes, I'll tally up the points, how they did, on the desk and see where we compare to, T-Bates and, to chat and all that stuff. So, but all in all, again, I think that we did a pretty good job.
Yeah,
Don't let this
we
fool
didn't do
you
bad.
guys. Don't let you fool us. Don't let this fool you. We're not going to do this good again. I doubt it.
Yeah, me and Cube have kind of been on a hot streak.
What are you
lately,
talking about?
apart
We know ball.
All I'm saying is,
Yeah.
if World is going to go how I think it's going to go, there's no way anyone's getting good predictions.
Well, I'm saying is we're passing level now.
We're
So you're
past-
predicting
okay,
that it's going to be hard to predict?
Yes.
Whoa, meta. Meta.
Even more than
Crazy.
normal.
Dang,
But hey, I will take a passing grade. C's get degrees.
they certainly do.
Yeah.
But now that anything else that you guys want to talk about Major 2, about any of the Rocket League that we watched this past weekend before we jump into our last segment for today?
Worlds, please hurry up. I need it now.
Only 3 months.
3 months, man.
Little less than 3
There's so
months.
much
Sorry,
happening in September.
I know.
That is
me too.
true.
Crazy.
But Red, you want to take us away with this next section?
Absolutely. So, for those of you that may or may not have been watching the stream when it was released, or those of us that were at London and saw it in person, you will know that the Rocket League World Cup is coming back. For those OGs, you guys might remember the League of Rockets, where they had a similar style tournament where it was nationality versus nationality. Well, it is back. FIFA E, Rocket League World Cup, as it's being called, will be bringing 16 nations from around the world. Nations are being selected based on representatives from around the world. So, I imagine you'll at least have the bigger ones like France, England, USA, Brazil. I'm sure we'll see more to come as well with that. But 16 nations from around the world. Teams will be 3 starters plus 1 sub. And I am so excited for this. I've been wanting a national event like this for a long time now, ever since I saw League of Rockets when I was younger. And I've been waiting for something like this to come back. So the only question I have is when can I get a USA Rocket League jersey, and where do I send my money?
Screw that. I'm getting a Brazil.
That'd be clean, I bet. But
Yeah.
I have heard, and the details are still being announced, and they will continue to be announced as we get closer and closer. But this is, first of all, a couple points. It's sponsored by FIFA, who hosts the regular World Cup, the most watched sporting event in the world. And I believe that there will be allowed for multiple teams from the same region. So like, bigger countries like,
Oh, so there's gonna be 4 France teams.
I think 2 is what they were talking about. So like 2 French
Oh, okay.
teams, 2 American teams. Just because there's not
Gotcha, okay.
there's not necessarily enough, like, so like you think about like Ireland, right? It's like Max U and Virtuoso, but then there's not really a third in RLCS right now.
All right, hear
So
me
that-
out. Boost Over Ball gets citizenship in North Korea so we can play in this tournament.
That would be a time.
That would be a heck of a long con there.
Yeah, it'd be worth it.
Pretty cool. But and I also I would imagine there has to be some kind of rule in place that you can't play like your team, because like, I mean, would G2 not just win?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, it'd be interesting to see what rulings get made on that.
Because like Atomic is American and Venezuelan, so I would imagine that he could pick either if he so desired.
What if they did only one player from each team can
Well,
play on a...
I'm pretty sure they're having like a similar qualifier style for the national team. So like,
Yeah, like
you could-
people can sign up with whoever they please.
yeah, as long
Oh, I
as you can
see,
prove your
okay.
nationality, you can sign with whoever. So I guess the question would be then to those teams would be like, do they stay together? Do they try something new? I mean,
Yeah, why wouldn't they just play their own teams then?
That's kind of what I'm thinking. I mean, like Gen G can't do
There's
it
gotta be a ruling for
because
that.
you have like Appjack and Noli, but like, I mean, you think about it, right? So like, there's
Yeah.
LJ is a fantastic player that probably gets looked at. First Killer, especially like, I'm just looking from the American side, right? You have G2, you have SSG is up there. Maybe Chicago gets a look. Maybe JNAPS is Canadian, so like he not for America, but maybe Com gets a look. So there's a lot of really good players, but I'm gonna be very intrigued to see how these teams come together.
yeah, it would also keep our Reds roster rumors busy in the off season. So I
Yeah,
appreciate
no kidding.
it.
Yeah, for sure.
Trying to keep track
talk
of all
about
the
there.
national teams. Oh gosh,
But
gonna be like a separate section for that.
yeah. But I mean, a couple of questions that I personally have, and I'm sure that they will get addressed as more information comes out. Will this be on the same cycle as the regular World Cup? So like every 4 years, or is this going to be like, hey, the Rocket League off season is going to continue to be September to January?
Rip.
Not again. No.
Am I back?
Any second now. There
Hey.
you go.
Okay.
Yeah, you're back.
You're back.
Yep.
But I was going to say, some of the questions that we have, will this be on the same cycle as the regular World Cup, so every 4 years, or is this going to be like, because the Rocket League off season is going to be, mid-September to January every year, will this be something that happens, every off season like Gamers 8 does, or how is this going to work? And I'm not looking for answers to these questions because we don't actually know, but it'll be something to look forward to as they release more information about this tournament.
Absolutely.
That'll be fun.
But with that, is there anything else that you guys want to talk about the Rocket League World Cup, about the Major, about Worlds, about anything Rocket League related before we wrap up for today?
I believe my my yappening is done. So.
I see what you did there.
Uh-huh.
AJ, what about you? You good?
I think I'm good.
Okay. Well, then we would like to thank you all so much for listening. We'd like to please remind you to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, join our Discord, and rate us wherever you listen to podcasts. Make sure to check out Twitch, our TikTok, and our merch store. And all of these links and more can be found on our brand new revamped website, boostoverball.com. And from us here on the show, as always, remember to choose Boost over Ball.
Thanks for listening to the Boost Over Ball podcast. Make sure to check out our website at boostoverball.com.